2024 has come and nearly left us. It's nearly November and the iPhone 15 has already made it around the world for its first 365 days. Technology companies have been bringing out new phones each year for a really long time now, and the difference between new phones and their older brothers has become more nuanced than ever before, with the differences being exaggerated only by technological pundits who seek dearly for something extraordinary to come and shake up the industry. The end of the year also means that all the biggest hitters have brought out their latest flagship models. In particular, we're going to look at the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the Pixel 9 Pro XL. Now, none of these phones have made any huge changes. In terms of design, the Pixel certainly looks like the biggest update. However, how are things under the surface? In today's video, we take a look at these two tech giants and see how their latest renditions stack up against each other in the age of AI phones. Just before we get into the meat and bones of today's video, if you guys are enjoying the content, smashing the like button sure does help the algo, but just watching our stuff is already fantastic. Hit us up with a sub if you'd like to see more, and we'd also love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Alright, back to it. Starting off with design, the Pixel 9 Pro XL has definitely made the biggest hardware changes in terms of design and also quality. With those flat rails and soft chamfers connecting the rails and the flat glass on the front and back, it looks super premium and it's definitely the most beautiful phone that they've come up with to date. But we can't help but notice something. Doesn't this look just like an iPhone with a pixel camera bar on the back? I mean, I don't want to be cynical, but it's very similar to the iPhone, and people are getting tired of waiting for a new iPhone design. At the same time, it seems that more companies are copying that exact dated style. That being said, the iPhone is looking a bit dated, with it essentially looking like it's been looking for the last 4 years. And the Pixel does look a bit more exciting with the rounded camera bar, and they have also upped the finishing to match the premium feel from that top tier flagship. So we are giving it to the Pixel. When it comes to display, these big boys are not holding back. The Pixel 9 Pro XL is rocking a 6.8-inch 120Hz LTPO OLED actual display that peaks out at 3000 nits and looks fabulous and receives Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection. The iPhone 16 Pro Max has a massive 6.9-inch 120Hz Super Retina display that peaks out at 2000 nits. The iPhone has further thinned out the bezels, which were already decent before, and those even borders look impressive. Side by side, it's difficult to see the extra 1000 nits of peak brightness that separates these two, but both displays deliver great visibility, and outdoors the Pixel did perform slightly better. This was a really close sector, with both displays providing a premium experience with color and contrast. The thinner bezels and extra screen on the iPhone were the most noteworthy thing, but this section gets a draw overall. On to the topic of computing power and UI. In modern times, this section is definitely more about the overall experience than raw numbers. But numbers do count, and they are quite clear. The iPhone 16 Pro Max and the A18 Pro chip rings around the Tensor G4 in terms of processing ability. The A18 Pro chip is combined with 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs as standard, and you can bump internal storage up to 1 terabyte on the top end. It's gonna give you around 20% more juice than the previous chip, which was already plenty powerful. But the biggest difference this time around is the dedicated AI capabilities and RAM for those tasks. The Pixel with the Tensor G4 gets 16 gigs of RAM combined with 128 gigs as standard, which is a little bit disappointing in terms of internal storage. At least 256 gigs would be a good entry level, we feel, but you can boost that all the way up to 1 terabyte at the highest end. Both phones have implemented a powerful UI experience strategy and have opted to go for more RAM for AI dedicated processors. That's a continuation for the Pixel and a new venture for the iPhone. But, and this is a big but, the iPhone doesn't launch with these new AI features, because that isn't available on these phones until iOS 18.1. So we have no real idea how this actually functions, which is a bit of a red flag. That being said, iOS 18 has allowed for some new customizations that will allow you to move apps and widgets around like people have been doing on their Androids for forever. Both of these OSs are solid and clean to use and represent our favorite user experiences on cellular devices. Side by side, the average day-to-day consumer won't really be able to tell a difference in speed, but we could tell that the Pixel sometimes needs to do a few more seconds of calculations when opening up certain apps and tasks. That being said, the AI features are cool, useful, and represent a decent value. We will have to wait and see how Apple Intelligent works when it drops. Both of these devices guarantee more than 5 years of OS and security updates and are pretty much getting the best packages in terms of this topic in the smartphone industry. This section goes to the Pixel for now because it's the finished product and delivers everything the package was meant to offer, and the AI features are pretty cool. Alright, getting to a particularly important section and a big factor when it comes to choosing a pocket slab. Apple have been the dominant force in cameras for the longest time now, and whilst it seemed that they were being caught and could actually lose the top spot in recent times, they have come out swinging this time around with these new models. So what's different? They've actually changed all these cameras on the back, and these three brand spanking new shooters have impressed us quite a lot. The 48 megapixel main sensor takes brilliant shots with excellent balance, detail and dynamic range. Shutter speeds are damn near instant on this thing, and nighttime photography is also top notch. The 12 megapixel periscope telephoto also does an outstanding job, and whilst it can't compete at distance with the likes of Samsung or Xiaomi, the 5x range is very good and useful. It also has a 48 megapixel ultrawide, which delivers some of our favorite wide angle shots on a phone to date. On top of this, the camera app has improved slightly, and you can also get good use out of that camera button if you take the time to play with it a bit. Video quality is like 2 steps ahead of everyone else. The quality and the stability is unmatched, and the possibilities of file size and modes are quite good too, if you're willing to dive into the settings and set things up. However, you could be looking at extremely big file sizes. You can shoot up to 4K 120 FPS, which sounds average if you compare it to others, but it looks absolutely phenomenal. The 12 megapixel selfie cam is also one of the best that you will find on anything. We did hype up the iPhone 16 Pro Max's cameras quite a bit, but if you were to choose the Pixel, you'd most likely be happy too. Pixels have been the best camera on the market for some time now, second only to the iPhone in our opinion. The triple camera setup on the Pixel 9 Pro XL consists of a 50 megapixel main shooter, a 48 megapixel periscope 5x zoom camera and a 48 megapixel ultra wide. The main shooter takes sensational shots with great color accuracy, detail, dynamic range and balance, but you do see a bit of processing going on, which isn't a bad thing and delivers great looking shots, but if you're nitpicking, which we are, it can be a bit too heavy on the processing side. The 5x zoom is a commendable shooter as well, delivering usable and detailed shots that are top level, no doubt. The ultra wide also puts in a commendable shift. It's still our second favorite camera system and we really like it. The video is improved, though it is quite clear that the iPhone is a step ahead despite the improvement from the Pixel. Its nighttime shooting is really impressive and goes blow for blow on many occasions. The 42 megapixel selfie cam is quite a bit better than the last iteration, improving on skin tones and shading, and actually does a great job. The Pixel gets an A+, and the iPhone gets A++. Onto the batteries, the Pixel contains a 5060 mAh battery, 37 watts of wired charging, 23 watt wired with a Pixel stand, and this is also a key compatible device. You can also do up to 12 watt of reverse wireless. The battery size is reasonable, but charging stats are quite average. However, it is nice to have key charging. Apple has made a big deal about these batteries being bigger and better than ever before, and they are a bit bigger, but we didn't really experience any improvements over the previous model. It has a 4685 mAh battery. It actually receives some fast charging this time, PD 2.0, and it's also able to wirelessly charge at 25 watts with a compatible MagSafe charger. Key 2 charging is also available here, and it has 4.5 watt reverse wireless. In our test, the Pixel actually had the biggest improvement over the last generation, and these phones in general perform quite similarly in battery drain tests. You can get through a full day of moderate use without any problems, with juice to spare for the next, and you can make it through an entire day on heavy use too. It's quite even Stevens here, and we are happy to give the section a draw. These are serious devices and they demand extravagant prices. You can pick the iPhone 16 Pro Max up for 1,200 big ones, and you can get a Google Pixel 9 Pro XL for 100 less, but that one only contains 128 gigs of internal storage as compared to the 256 gigs found on the Pro Max. Honestly, we like to use the Pixel device more than the iPhone. It feels exciting and new. The iPhone isn't really a device that feels all that novel. However, the stats on paper and the delivery of those stats are impeccable. The best choice is probably the iPhone, but we would pick the Pixel 9 Pro XL. But that's just what we think. Which one would you guys get? Let us know in the comments below. Alright, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay under the spotlight.